Hey everybody, Brandon back with some more painted plastic. Welcome to episode 4. That's right, episode 4 of our
Stop it.
1/100 master grade Zaku II, right? And we're gonna jump right in. Got these inner frame parts. These are the arm, the leg, the foot, and we want to make these parts look like these parts, right? Just add a little bit of detail. There's the knee joint, right? A lot of this stuff you're never going to see except for the joints, but some things may peek through the armor just a little bit, so we want to dress them up a bit. A couple of supplies I have, assorted colors, right? Got a little plastic palette over here to the side, right? Got some X20A, right? That's just Tamiya thinner. And of course we've got a clean out pot for the brushes. And speaking of brushes, I have two here that are relatively small, right? Got a really small one for some detail and a larger one here. We're going to start with the smaller one. And I think we will start, eeny, meeny, miny, the leg. Yep. So, what are we going to do? Well, the only thing you're going to see on this armor piece, or this inner frame, is right here, right? The knee joint. So, just want to dress that up a little bit. And we're going to start with some chrome silver. You can see on this one, I've just painted these little brackets, right? Chrome silver, and then I did some gunmetal here on the side, which may not show up on camera. Not sure, but yep, that's all we're going to do. So, get some chrome silver and shake. All right. I need to have my mixer. I always forget to grab my mixer. So, got a little bit of that. Just going to put over here in the tray just a little bit of X20A, just so I've got some thinner on hand. Re-wet the brush. And get a little thinner on the brush. And I'm just going to go right into the paint in the lid. Like I said, we don't need a whole lot of paint for this. So this inner bracket right here and these two little side brackets, right? Hope you guys can see that. I know I've told you guys over and over never to paint bare plastic. And that's true. You really shouldn't. You should always prime your plastic. But that's not to say that you can't paint bare plastic, right? It'll work just fine. There's a better chance that it's going to scrape off if you don't prime. But, that's okay. We can seal it and protect it with some top coat. Now this first coat is going to be patchy and ugly and probably not going to cover. Everything will get at least one more coat, maybe even two more coats. But there is one advantage to painting on bare plastic, and I'll show you what that is. Let's say you mess up, right, and you hit a little bit of paint right there, right? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Got paint somewhere. Don't worry about it. When you're painting on bare plastic, once this is dry, you can scrape it right off, no problem. It will not stick as well as if it were painted. So that's one part done, or at least the first coat. So set that to the side. For the sorry, I just cleaning out my brush here for a second because we've got a little deconstruction to do. For the foot, there's a couple of things that need to happen. First, we got to just take everything apart, right? All these little pistons and all this needs to come out, right? And we can set that to the side for a second. For these pistons, they're very, very tight, right, in that sleeve. So one thing I'm going to do is, let's see, I've got a little bit of sandpaper here that I've just rolled into a coil, right? And all we're going to do is just sand out the inside of this tube just to give a little more room. For one thing, it's already kind of tight. And for another thing, the paint is going to add a little bit of thickness, right, to the post. And we don't want it rubbing. So we'll just give that a quick sand through. We're going to do the same thing on these because they're pretty much the same. They're kind of tight. Just like that. And let's see. And that's a little bit better. I think I may actually sand the post a bit too. Just really not trying to really sand it down, but just knock off a little bit, right? Let's check it again. There we go. Nice and smooth. It's not really sticking anywhere. That's what we want. So, what do we do for these? Well, you can see on this foot, the post is silver, and the sleeve, this part will end up being red, so we'll do that later. But both of the pistons, right, are going to be silver. So, get a little paint. And I'll wipe across my thumbnail here just to kind of pull off excess paint and get a nice point on the brush. If you have a palette, you know, next to you, you can certainly just use a palette, but I've always just used my thumb. And you know what? I'm going to bump up to the little bit larger brush. Get a little thinner on the brush. There. Now we'll get this thing covered. There we go. Just like that. I'm going to grab a little sticky stick and set that to the side to dry. Same thing here. I'm going to paint both of these. Get a little more paint. But as you can see, it doesn't really take a long time to add a little bit of detail to that inside. And you know, ordinarily I would paint the inner frame, especially in cases where, you know, pieces of the armor are not going to be there, or going to be, you know, exposed. There we go. That one done. Right? So, let me grab sticky stick. There we go. Oh yeah, guys, got some new sticks. Ooh, brand new, no paint on them. Yeah, needed them for a while. What was I saying? I was saying something. I don't know what I was saying. I can't remember. But I think that is, oh no, there's one more little bit of silver, and that's on the foot. It's the pistons inside here, right? Those little bits. And for that, I'm going to go back to the smaller brush, because those are tiny. A little bit of thinner, a little bit of paint. Wipe it off. And we're going to go right in here and just dab that right in the center. Now, if it goes over, it's not a big deal, because the red that we put on next, or when we put it on, will cover. So, just trying to get some paint in that center section. There we go. First coat, done. Let's go to the next color, which I think will be red. Y'all want to do red? Let's do red. Red. There's only a little teeny bit of red here and there, mostly on the foot, because you're gonna you're going to see some of this, right? The armor's going to come up, but when the foot bends, you're going to see some of these pistons. So I kind of want that to stand out. And as I mentioned in an earlier episode, you know, I want a little splash of color. This thing's a little drab with the browns and the grays. I'd like to have a splash of color. So we'll get our thin brush again. And you know what? I'm going to need some new X20 because that other one's got silver paint in it. Get a little in the brush. Get a little paint. Hopefully this chrome silver is relatively dry. Do the same thing. Just get a little on the brush and go right in to these piston caps. All right. First coat. Now you can see there's a drastic difference, right? This is 3 coats. This is 1 coat, right? Eventually it'll look like this, but yeah, it'll take some going over a few times. So that is all the red, I believe. Need another sticky stick. Sticky stick. Put that to the side to dry. There was one little dollop of blue. One little dollop of blue. I didn't want to use much blue, but I thought it would be neat to have it just kind of peeking out, you know, little teeny spot of color. And that is this little circle right here. So I'm just going to get a dab of that. And we're going to paint this little circle guy. Again, this will get a 2nd coat, maybe even a 3rd coat. Have to see how well it covers, but about like that, right? Just a little spot of color. I don't know. I thought it was neat. Oh yeah, let me show you while I've got this piece in my hand. Grab another sticky stick. This little spot where we got paint, right? I'm just using the end of my stick. It's just a wooden stick. And watch. You can rub it right off of the surface, right? That's because we're painting on bare plastic. It's not going to stick very well. And when you rub it off, you're not left with, you know, a different color. It's bare plastic. So just that easy. So if anywhere that you get paint that you don't want paint, just go around with a little stick. I usually use a pointy one, you know, kind of like this. I usually use something like that and just, right, scrape it right off. No problem. Next, we're going to do some gunmetal. Oh, did I not grab the gunmetal? Give me 1 second. I guess I didn't grab the gunmetal out. Yeah, give me 1 second. Be right back. Here we go. We're going to jump right back on the leg. Man, I still didn't grab my mixer. Ah, jeez. Hey. I'll tell you, I forget everything, y'all. I forget everything. Gunmetal. I love this color. Look at that. Isn't that just the coolest kind of metallic gray? I love gunmetal. So, get a little paint. Oh, I didn't get anything. Well, you know what? We can just use the silver. It'll be all right. Get a little paint. And just this inner, or this outer wheel. I want to leave the inner wheel gray, so it kind of looks like a cog in there. Right? And you know what? When you're painting your Gundams, do it whatever color you want. If you think that these little wheels are green, well, they're green. And that's not wrong. It's, you know, there's no right color, right? I typically go with sort of the metallics. But like I said, there's no right color, right? You know, I did cars and stuff when I was younger and that kind of thing. And, you know, you're basically just making it look like the car. You know, there's not a, I mean, you can customize the paint job, sure, but you know, with these, if you don't like a part, cut it off. You know, do something different. There's just no rules for Gundam. You can be anything you want. Just like that. That's one side done. We'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Alright, I'm going to go off and do the rest of the leg, right? The arm, all that stuff. Give me a few minutes to get all these things painted up, and we'll be right back. Alright, everybody, here we go. Got the second coats done on all the bits, and also hit them with a quick gloss coat, right, off camera. For the gloss, I did not use the Pledge. For my final top coat, I like to use this rattle can gloss, right? It's a really nice gloss coat. Been using it for a while now. But yeah, that was all done off camera. You can see they're nice and glossy and shiny and pretty, and yes. Anyway, one thing I didn't mention in the video was on the head. I did the mono eye in white. Right, now that'll get a lens that goes over top, and yeah, but I wanted a little bit of white underneath, so that got done. And then the little face grill vent thing, right? It got some gunmetal. So those were the only two things I did to the head. Most of this is going to be covered up, so you're never going to see any of this anyway. So that's all done. The inner frame, as far as I'm concerned now, is ready to go. We can start assembling the kit and move on with some weathering and details and yeah, all that stuff. So I think we're going to leave this episode here. Like I said, the inner frame is pretty well done as far as I'm concerned. The next episode will either be assembling the suit, right, and starting some decals and weathering and all the fun stuff, or we're going to get the weapons and backpack and all the kind of accessory things, and we'll start doing some of that stuff. I haven't decided what I want to do. You guys know I change my mind all the time. So until episode 5, thanks for hanging out.